Peace. Welcome back to another show of Humanity Works podcast. I'm your host, Jahad Messiah Youssef. This is the place where we bring it sexy back to the everyday hardworking men and women who impact your life within close proximity. We want to rise above this madness, which is called black culture. Welcome tonight. Told you I would keep the content coming. Tonight is going to be a very triggering subjects on a few levels, but nothing too bad. Now, let me put a disclaimer out here. Ladies, this is not a bash a black woman session or bash women's session for that matter, period. But this is for constructive, representing the constructive men of value, constructive men of valor, vigorous, hardworking, and men who seek to be in relationships, men who seek to be committed, men who want to get married, men who want to procreate. But as of lately, in the last 10 years or so, or 12 years old, we've seen a nasty shift in our community when it comes to the culture of commitment, to the culture of family, how we raise our children, how we love one another. Have we suspended love and affection for one another, the value of one another, for capitalistic things, being possessive, bragging about educational value, bragging about sexual value, bragging about the things that we have? What exactly has happened to us as a people? We're going to talk about this today because I know for myself as an individual man, a single man, I've been going through some woes. And listen, I'm not going to tell you that I've never met good women. I messed up on a very good woman, but sometimes, it takes you to lose that prize to understand what a prize looks like. And I'm fine with that and I'm cool with that. But as myself, I had to work on self, had to heal self, had to evolve and had to grow. And I had to be humble to learn that I wasn't as good as a man as I thought I was. But over time, I've learned to become a better man, a much more better man, a more focused man, more spiritual man, a more codified man. But tonight, we're going to be talking about black men starting families abroad. What does true manhood look like? And why does the Western modern woman, why are they not attracted to good men? We'll talk about men dating women with children. We're going to talk about, how to make a husband happy. We're going to talk about how to make a wife happy. So feel free to engage. Put your comments in the section. We're going to get it cracking tonight. I promise you. I've had this brother on before. He goes by the name of Manual, and he is the author of the manual, the man's spiritual manual. I hope I didn't butcher that right. And I have this book, but I think it's called The Spiritual Manual for Man. And actually, he's my relative, and he's somebody that I look up to, somebody who actually lives what he speaks on. He's a man of many skills, a man of many talents. He has a podcast coming up called The Manual. You can go ahead and go to the YouTube channel. You can start to subscribe. And, it's all about getting prepared to live abroad. It's time for us to expand our horizons. We need to have a dramatic shift on what we call love, or what black love looks like, or what love looks like, period. Should love have a color on it? Do people really see love when it comes to color when it comes to love? Who knows? But tonight we're going to get into all of that. And I promise you, some of these things, and you might take it a little bit personal. You might be triggered by some things. You might be upset. You might feel offensive. But I'm telling you, this show is not based for anybody to be offended. It's not trying to target a group, a gender, our women. It's not. But at the end of the day, what we really want to do is bring about a solution. Let me go ahead and bring on my guest. What's going on with you, brother?
How you doing, sir? Looking good.
I'm still learning.
Me too.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Learning thing is a lifelong process.
What have you been up to since the last time we've talked, man?
I have actually been working hard. I sold one house, took the equity and put it into a fixer-upper. And I'm actually living in the fixer-upper as I fix it up. And I am, like you mentioned, preparing to live abroad, but have a place to always come back to.
That's what's up, man. So since the last time we spoke, man, and I called you the other day and we rapped about this conversation, which is why we're here tonight on this show. I got to be transparent. I'm going to tell you exactly. I'm going to say to the viewing audience exactly what I told you. I'm close to giving up on black women. and I don't want to. I don't hate black women. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I noticed something. Listen, intelligence is a penalty. Being heterosexual is viewed as being toxic and a turnoff. I'm strictly talking about the modern Western woman, the woman who goes around talking about how educated she is and saying she's the prize based on curves, BBL, makeup, cosmetics. And it's like you hear women say all the time, like, I tried these apps and I see the same thing on these profiles. They lame as hell. It's, I ain't about drama, I ain't about games. Stay about the games. I want somebody that's intelligent and can stimulate my mind. And then when you actually get on the phone and talk to these individuals, man, you actually blow them out the water. So I got to thinking that most of these women, man, since they so used to mediocre men, all they really know is, quote unquote, the fuck boy, the jail nigga, the street dude, right? Because he appears to have the bag, or he looks fancy, he drives cars, but he lacks the intelligence. And I've come to understand that most women have a problem with the man that they may deem is more smarter than them, more intelligent, because you can't manipulate him with simple things of like a boy-like state, as far as the way he thinks. So it's like, if I talk to it's just any woman, man, I can't think of any woman I met, maybe two in recent history, that I didn't block within 24 hours. But it's like you get on the phone, you have conversations with them, and it's like they values, interests, and principles are so baby-like. It's like, hey, you ever been hiking? Nah, but I go to the club and smoke hookahs, or, one chick even told me, like, a nigga got to pay for my time. And so when I asked her, what exactly does that mean when you say a nigga got to pay for your time? She was like, because you could be blocking another prospect. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell and who are you for me to have to pay for your time in the form of a drink, food, or whatever? What makes you so valuable just because of what you think you look like, because you can draw somebody? Yeah. But a lot of times what I found out is a lot of women who are not prepared to meet a man like you or I, who's dealing with a different frequency, who may not be as, ghettoed out, hood out, or you know what I'm saying? Just what they in tune to. Years later, they turn back the corner and come back and be like, you know what? I didn't understand you then, but I understand you now. And this is after they deal with a dude who never panned out to be a man, couple of babies, gained weight, bad divorce, and they come back. What is really going on here, man, in this country, man, with our women, with the Western woman? And we don't have to just liken it to black women, but just with the Western woman, period.
I think they got such a sisterhood that they don't challenge bad behavior. It's like whatever they do, you can't judge her for being whatever. You can't judge her. And the thing about it, they don't realize that it's the bad behavior that's getting the biggest microphone, making them all appear to be toxic. And the ones that are not standing up, separating themselves from the toxic group. But I think it, like you said earlier, we talking about solutions. To me, the problem goes all the way back. But if 70 households are being run by single mothers, then to me, that's where the problem lies, because it takes a father to make a boy, to raise a boy to be responsible and, like we are, but we're not attractive to the Western woman. And these women are actually raising the kind of boys that they complain about, because like you said, they don't recognize a real man, somebody who's gonna be in control of the house and manage and, what we do. So I think it starts with there, because also a girl needs her father so that she can know what to expect from a man. And when you don't have either of those, you have, a lot of sensitive boys. You have a lot of girls who's being raised by social media. Without that two-parent home, mom has to work. So who's raising the kids? Who's giving them these ideas of relationships and commitment and longevity and, stuff that they need to fight through life's challenges? That independent thing, how that started, the feminist movement, and, that goes way back to the 60s, and you choose between welfare or daddy in the house. A lot of them chose the welfare, and child support. So they gave them this sense of entitlement because they got more money and we got less. We paying the child support, they're enjoying the child support and the kids. So with that, they look down. Well, why ain't you doing this? Yeah, it's definitely a conditioning, that we come from. And you mentioned earlier leaving the black woman. It's not the black woman we're leaving the culture, the American culture, because it's not our culture. This culture that we have was rooted from slavery, you know, just 200 years ago. So we're still sort of dealing with that. Um, yeah, our culture is toxic, and we're so deep in it, we're blaming each other, for face value issues when, these problems was here before us.
Yeah. So is it kind of like what I follow Yaki Awaken, man. That brother's pretty he's pretty enlightening, man. Shout out to the brother. And he talked about trans oh, I thought you were saying something. He talked about transitional epigenetics, which is like the transfer, I believe, if I'm understanding him correctly, like the transfer of trauma. And when you talk about the slave culture, the one thing that I know about us as a people, we bask in genetics. We bask in our physical realities, which I think is plantation behavior, because when we're so, our worth is what is the worth of our muscles, our physical image. Like they say, these NIL deals, name, image, and likeness. It's no different than standing on an auction block, and saying that nigga has broad shoulders. I want to mate him with this nigger chick over here who's busty in the chest or has a big bosom. Anybody understand the history of Sarah Bartman? Especially with women out here getting BBLs, it might a little bit blow their mind, but our people don't study history, so we're repeating the same cycle.
Right.
However, what you said was profound, because one thing that I always talk about, and I kind of watered it down, because it really turns people off when you actually talk about the system of white supremacy. But this is all by design. And what I've noticed, especially like with single mothers, when you try to break this down, it's like, this ain't real. And the only question I ask them, well, do you have sons? Well, yes, I do. I said, well, let's talk in another 18 years and tell me, do you still feel the same way? It's a very real reality, because and here's the thing that I think a lot of women, especially women of color, do not understand with the reality of black men. And this is a hard pill to swallow that I'm about to say. No black man can protect you, and he can't provide for you. Why? Because he does not control or own these jobs and these institutions that he requires to get an economic feed to take care of his family. It's all like what I say when it comes to sports. It's a narrative. When these guys go on these jobs, you have to present yourself a certain way. You have to talk a certain way. You have to be a safe Negro narrative. And if you come outside those lines, and the next thing that happens is you get laid off, if they see you getting married, your hours get slim, you pull up with a brand new car, it's just all kind of things that most of our women don't understand that we're going to go through on these jobs. I have I think one of the root causes, like you say, is not that we leaving the black woman, we're leaving the toxic American culture. And that's so profound that you say that. But the number one thing I think a lot of our women are confused on is understanding how white supremacy works is going to impact our lives when it comes to family. That's the number one thing they do not understand. And for the life of me, it's like they think black men want to be broke. They think black men want to be homeless. They think black men don't want to work. And that's simply not the case. What say you?
Yes, that's definitely not the case. But our hard work, there's not a lot of six-figure black men, unless you're playing sports, and social media has painted this picture, or this fantasy, I'll say a fantasy, of what a man is supposed to be. And it's all wrong, because the picture that they are attracted to that's part of the toxic conditioning that, like you said, the white supremacy or whoever it is wants them to follow. So they're comparing, the ball players and the rappers and all of these drug dealers, that's what they're attracted to, the quick money, and somebody who's going to be solid in the home and make sure your kids are men and continue the legacies. They don't see how the system is designed for that disconnect. You disconnect the father from his son. Basically, it's like the game of chess. The female is the one that's doing all of the moving. So who controls the female? Not us. Society does, with the child support and all of that stuff. So, it's like you can't keep making yourself something that you're not to impress their standards, because they don't even know what they want. So the cultures, we're not stuck to a culture. A culture is, you can change cultures like you can change religions. We're not bound to any of this. So for me, that's what made me, that's what woke me up. I was looking at the culture, and you go from dating one, not even Black, American, to the next. There's something in that toxic environment that's going to, interfere with having a normal, cohesive family that can come together and work together to achieve whatever we want to achieve. The helpmate is what we're looking for, and that's so hard to find.
So let me ask you, because I know you traveled abroad, and shout out to you, man. I like to talk about what manhood really looks like, because I see you right there, and you fixing up the house and the home that you're purchasing and stuff like that, man. So you're doing it yourself, man. So shout out to you. That's a real man skill. So tell me about your experiences, man, having traveled abroad, and notice the things that you noticed, because we all know about the passport brothers that people talk about. Is one of the solutions for men of color who are seeking to start a family, looking to find a helpmate, and share the greatness, the well-being of their life with, is the answer actually outside the country?
It's sad to say, but if your time is valuable, I'd say at least check it out and see for yourself, because that's the only way you're going to see for yourself. But for me, you really don't know what you're missing meeting someone that don't have a lot of bodies, a lot of breakups, a lot of trauma. And we're dealing in our society with our own traumas. So when we do the work and realize, it's just an experience that we're going through, but we're elevating ourselves to be better. You can't fix your environment or our culture. We have the option to totally dive into a whole nother culture. And I don't know if there's any other society like the American society. You go anywhere else, the men are respected, the women are protected, they're most times feminine, respectful, and that's our number one love language. Respect me, and that's how we feel love. But to deal with a woman that, like I said, don't have a lot of baggage, a lot of breakups and heartaches, and man, that's like it's hard to describe. Just submissive, soft, compliant. And a lot of people say, "What's that taboo word? Submissive." I think we take that word and don't even really like give it a chance to see what it is.
Yeah. They heard you say the word compliant.
Yeah. But they're compliant on their job, So
yeah,
it's in them. But it's just this thing that they've just been given this way of looking at us, their own fathers, their own brothers, their own uncles. And I mean, it's sad, it's really sad. But you can't save them, you can't protect them because they're so educated and, independent. When you start out without being nurtured or guided or leaded by a two-parent home or by your father, then you really don't know what to expect in the world. You're just out here, searching for the bag.
Yeah. And you got a point there, man, because again, I have not met a woman who has not been damaged yet.
Yes.
And this damage, man, is like from 20 years ago from like a baby daddy, or I'm like, gee, and you know what? And like I say, I don't want to hear it. I don't care to hear it, because it's like you give them this ear, you lend them to get, and once they get their mind right, then they jump with the worst, the dude that was worse than the dude that broke their heart. So, but with that being said, now are the women of the same man caliber that we talk about? What about the women who are constructive, women who want to settle down, women who want marriage, and they just can't find it? Is that a reality for Black women as well?
I think I'm sure there's a small percentage of women like that. Age plays a part in there. I've heard a couple of psychologists and therapists say that the best years for a woman to settle down is between her 20s and early to mid 20s. After that, it's they're starting to either have a lot of bodies or have a lot of experiences or get this freedom that they can't let go of. Once they see it, like the Adam and Eve story, once they see this knowledge, they don't want to come back to be protected like they say they want to be,
Right. Is that kind of like what you saying, like when 70 to 80% women leave marriages because they have nothing to lose and everything to gain? You want to speak on that a little bit?
Yes. That's the statistics, that 70 to 80% women are the ones that's leaving marriages nowadays, 70 to 80%. And I just break it down to, as soon as we meet you, let me buy you a drink. Let me take you out. The investment start. And if we really like it, if it's in our heart that we want to find that one to settle down with, we don't mind investing. But looking at it from their angle, they're sitting on this throne, judging, basically, like you said, if they've gotten a little older and they've experienced, well, this guy bought me this guy took me here. We're dating all of the people, or we're not dating all of the people, but we're dealing with all of the people that she's ever dated and the relationships that didn't work. So that's what we're going through. And the older we get, the harder it is to find love.
Wow. And I find that to be a truth. First of all, hold on, before I continue, I want to give a shout out, man, to the brand Love Over War. This is a new brand that's going to be dropping later this summer. Shout out for them for putting me down with this dope ass jacket. I feel like $1 million in this thing, man. Shout out to my guy Deuce, man. Much I pray God much blessing over your business, man. Thank you for putting me down with this jacket. This jacket is like, man, I feel like going to the club right now. I feel like I got the bag. I'm gonna go in that line like I got the bag. So let me give you a counter argument to when you talk about the marketing value of a woman in her 20s. Now, women tell me, well, if that's the truth, if a woman loses her marketing value, her sexual marketplace value, at the 40s or coming out of marriage, what about men who are unhealthy, erectile dysfunction, halfway in the grave? You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, men, it's just like when I seen this meme where it had like a picture of this donut and the donut was closed and it was like, I'm strong and black, and then the donut opened up a little bit more. And it's like, I don't need a man. The donut opened up a little bit more. And it's like, well, I can't find a good man. Then the donut was wide open. Like, what I'm saying? I'm ready to settle down. I want more. So, and that's a real reality, because what I realized is with this new age modern Western woman, like you call it the sisterhood, it's like they want this freedom, right? The Crimson Tide, the sister, the Crimson, I think she's called the Crimson something. She goes in on women so hard. She goes worse than Samuel Adams, what's my man? Kevin Samuels. She called them hyenas, but yeah, her name is the Crimson something. I forgot. But anyway, once they go with this freedom, they come back and settle down. What can you say to that? Because a lot of women, like a lot of men, are unhealthy. So they say men don't want to settle down until they don't work no more. But I found that to be a truth for women too. Like women start to come back. Like when you go on these apps, man, they like 55, 60 years old, damn near 80, talking about never been married, ready to settle down. A 55-year-old woman told me she never met a good man. Bro, I hung the phone up and blocked her. A 55-year-old woman told me she never met a good man. That's mental illness to me. So what is it about us where we're waiting while we just selfishly live this life? People wear their bodies out. They're no longer healthy. Now they want to marry. Instead of like, the fourth generation. I know my parents married like when they were young, and they stayed married. And a lot of people will say, well, they might have stayed married, but they wasn't happy, but they stayed married. They followed through with the vows, as opposed to nowadays. It's just like this state of individuality. You want to speak on that counter argument?
You said something about not finding good men and good women. This is what I say about that. We attract what we are. So for her to say there are no good men, that's really a reflection of her, because there are good men and there are good women. We must elevate our vibration and understanding to see what it is to have a good man or have a good woman. It's like preparing for sports, or any position that you want to play. You got to study that position and be it, and I think a lot of times we aren't looking at ourselves. We're looking at everybody else, but everybody around us is a reflection of us. We in the club, everybody in there, that's a reflection of us. Whatever we do, whatever environment we find ourselves in, calling women bitches, that's an energy, that's a vibration. The saying, ain't no good bitches, ain't no good niggas, you're right. But if you say there's some good queens and kings out there, then you're also right.
Yeah. A buddy of mine, he showed me something pretty interesting. I was like, damn, why I keep drawing these like the ratchet women, the most hood women? He said, because you got on your nigga suit. And what he was saying was because of the crowns, the tattoos. And I never thought about it. The build, my build looks like I might have been incarcerated before. And it made a lot of sense because I get the same argument from my daughter. She called me sometimes. And, I kind of ask her how her dating thing is going with young men. And I personally know, like when it comes to my daughter's generation, like the pickets are so slim, right? But I said, well, you wearing a nigga suit. I said, you wear them long ass weaves, them nails, them lashes. And mind you, I ain't about trying to tell a woman how she should look, right? But again, everything is energy. You're going to draw the very man you despise because he recognizes that as, the bitch look, the ratchet look. When I see women like that, I ain't gonna even lie. Sometimes I might be a little judgmental, but when I see chicks like with this purple, orange hair and, all done up, I know that I'm not dealing with a brain. I know this. I know that all her value and her worth has been put into her look, and she wants that to be respected or like an incentive, like if it's the bag, but it's not. So I think that's a real reality, what you talk about as far as energy and algorithm. However, I think also too, man, a man can be intimidating. Intelligent men are highly intimidating, right? Let me bring up this question by Calcom Haney, man. He asked this question. How has capitalism affected the relationship between men and women in the country post-World War II and post-segregation?
That's a profound question. I guess I would say that we are the consumers of pretty much everything. We don't own nothing, but we buy everything. And I think we think that our value is in what we wear, what we drive, because we're trying to impress more so each other than build something for the future, set something up for the family.
Yeah.
If you look at who we buy things from, like just say in our neighborhood, the Arabs got the gas stations, the Koreans got the hair. We buy Jordans from, that corner store downtown in St. Louis. You know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name. But yeah,
Gus's.
Yes, yeah. We buy all of this stuff, but then it has no value after we put it on. And, we use it to impress the females.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if that answered that question, but yeah, we're the biggest consumers of stuff that we don't create.
Yeah, he made a profound statement that capitalism has taught us not to value one another. And if you really look at it, what do women say? Hey, you know, you got to have a job if you want to be with me. And I think a lot of times, and I have experienced this, man, like you could drive one vehicle that looks simple and plain, but then you pull out your luxury vehicle and all the heads turning, because I guess that's the way of sizing a man up. Like a man is only worth what he's valued, right? Another point that I want to talk on, and we spoke on about earlier, let's talk about dating women with children. Ooh. Let me get your take on that.
That is such a touchy subject, because there's a lot of women with children that are single, but it's risky. You know, of course they want you to put them first, but they can never put you first. So you're going into a situation where they're expecting so much, but they can only give you so much back. But you're the one investing and potentially losing in the end. So if their kids are young, you know, my thing is, if you're gonna do it, really get to ask some really, really deep questions, like, where is the kid's dad? Do they have a good relationship? You know, because if they don't, why? You know, why aren't these kids in their dad's lives? You know, they need their dad just as much as they need you. You want me to come and be a dad to these kids, but they have a dad. You know, I could be a stepdad, a great stepdad. But I think that should be a requirement for guys that's gonna go and take that chance, because kids, you know, they could be, you know, most times unruly. And you're going in a situation where at nighttime, her kid's out there robbing, killing, and stealing. You know, and you coming into a situation, they looking at you, depending on what age they are. If they teenagers, you ain't finna change they teenagers.
You'll be boxing them in the backyard.
Yeah, you have to shoot her kids. You know, you ain't finna box them. You know, one of us ain't gonna make it out of here.
Yeah.
So it's a big risk. And
can that be a sweep indictment made on all women with children? I mean, you do have situations where a mother with children has a great relationship with the father, and the guy she's dating, they kind of build a rapport, or, you know, it's just that, you know, maybe the guy values or love that woman enough to where he's willing to deal with whatever comes with that woman with children.
Well, that's why I said ask the hard questions, because if another question to ask, do she have a relationship with her father?
I know you spoke on that. So going to that, you were saying about the issues with women who don't have a spiritual connection to their biological father. What do you mean when you say that?
Fathers pretty much give women an idea of what to expect from men, how to handle men, how to treat men, how to respect men, how to love men. Because, you know, you have a daughter, you know, when you all are in the kitchen together, you know, that's forming her. You know, when you're riding in the car, talking, laughing, joking, that's forming her. You know, so she's not gonna stray too much away from that. Not to mention, she respects you enough so when she meets somebody, I want you to meet my dad. And she's gonna meet somebody familiar to what she knows.
That's true, man.
But if she don't know any idea of what to expect from a man, especially if she's beautiful, that can be challenging for her. Who's protecting this beautiful little girl?
Yeah. What if she grew up with a father that was abusive to her and her mother?
That's also challenging, because that's familiar to her. You know, not saying that they can't come through that, but it's still part of who she is.
That's pretty tough. And as far as daughters, man, you know, my daughters have introduced me to some young men, and, you know, they even brought me some shit, boy. But that's why I say, man, the pool, like, I think one of the issues, man, like if you do have daughters, that I had to realize, like, because, look, man, I just got to keep it a buck, man. I ain't got nothing against my grandchildren's fathers, and I'm not going to say they're doing the best that they can. However, I used to ask the question, with the type of father that I am, the grandfather that you have, the uncles that you have, the male cousins that you have, the family that you come from, and any other male I've ever associated with outside of blood who are just men, how did you bring this to me? how did you end up with this particular guy? You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's crazy, man. And, you know, I guess it's kind of like, you know, you train up a child the way they should go. What is it? Proverbs 6:22. And, you know, when they get older, they won't go astray. They going to go astray, but at least, man, you put some common sense. Like, the one thing that I'm grateful for as far as my daughters and what they have to deal with these young men is that they've already had their heart broke young. I know it sounds crazy to a lot of people, but now I always told my daughters, I'm raising you to love the reality of a black man. So I taught them everything that I know. Codification, racism. I told my daughters about sex before they were 8 years old, right? Mm-hmm. Because I don't want my daughters, because, you know, when I look at my reality, I'm like, man, I hope my daughters don't grow up to be like this. I don't want my daughters to be that 55-year-old woman that told me she ain't never met a good man. I don't want my daughters out here to be mad and angry and holding men accountable for their own bad decisions. You understand? And the things that they got wrong, or if they got their heart broke, like, get over it. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I think a woman's first heartbreak is an absent father.
It is.
It has to be.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes her question, you know, was it me that he's not around? But a lot of times they get these ideas from mom. Whatever relationship, mothers teach their kids how to respond to their father, even in the home. You know, and fathers teach the kids how to respond to mom. Yeah. But if dad ain't there and mom is mad at dad, then they see her struggling, asking for child support, where my money, you know, all of these negative energies that they watch her go through, they become sour towards men.
Yes.
And it's hard to let it go.
Another thing that you brought up, man, you wanted to talk about, because I wanted to get your take on women who bring something to the relationship that think beauty is the king and the end all be all. Let's speak about that, because I mean, pretty much that is the dominant factor why women are walking around here saying that they are the prize.
Yes. And they think the prize is what they sitting on. You know, like every other woman ain't sitting on that same thing. Mm-hmm. You know, what makes that prize good is your attitude. You know, but with us, women come to the table not really having to work hard because they beauty. Especially if they, you know, are beautiful, that's what they think they're bringing to the table. But men have to work and get to a point to where they are attractive. We can't come out the gate with our beauty or being handsome. We got to like build something. You know, we got to be on our grind or have achieved our goal. And that's where our market value is. So you're meeting someone who worked hard to get to this market value and somebody who just bring looks to get to their market value. And a man will take a woman who don't have much but her looks, but the attitude, and I'm talking about a good man, a focused man, a driven man. He'll take that based on her attitude. So when what they bring to the table, you know, it's like if you didn't invest much, yeah, what is that saying? If you work hard for it, you appreciate it. You know, so if they coming into the relationship not having to work hard, but being the one to say, nah, you know, you don't make enough money, you ain't tall enough, you ain't this, you ain't that, then, you know, that's really a good thing for us, because a lot of times we'll keep trying. Well, let me buy you this. Well, let me do you that. But that's your first hint to where she ain't gonna appreciate nothing.
Yeah.
No matter how hard I try and convince her that I'm a good man. And the thing about that, they never really even get to the heart of the man. You know, and there's so many good men that will take care of them and give them the life that they want. But he's not gonna just put all of that in your face, you know, with the representative.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. So let me get your take on this, because you mentioned another thing about a woman that has a lot of bodies on her, a high body count. What's your take on that? Let me ask you a question. What if you met a woman with a high body count, but she was like a good woman, kind of transformed, spiritually renewed, but she had a lot of bodies on her? Do you look at her as less valuable, as in not being worthy of your commitment and love?
I don't look at her that way, but the amount of, like, every relationship that a woman has stays with her. So all the relationships that she's been through, she's going to compare me. Like you might have had Shaq, if you know what I mean, and I got to come in and be that. I got to be what Leroy was, because he had his good qualities and bad qualities. Shaq had his good qualities and bad qualities. But I'm coming with my heart. I'm coming. I want to take care of you. But I don't think she would be the one who would be satisfied with me in the end. I'm too simple to where she's looking at, I used to get choked. I used to get this, I used to get that. And now you just want to love me, and, that sexual experience is emotional, if,
I don't know, man. I cuz, can I be honest?
yeah.
I might be going about this thing a little wrong, hey, but I can't be nothing but transparent, man. I kind of got into this thing to where I'm gonna be honest with you, man. At my age, like, I don't really want no square. Like, I don't really want no woman without no history. I don't mind if she had like one night stands. I don't mind if she, you know what I'm saying? But like, just come to me as a whole complete woman. And because I feel like women who don't have, well, let me say this. I got to put it in context. Experience from body count. Let me say that.
Okay.
So let me put it, I ain't saying, yeah, I want this woman. I want a woman with 1,000. Let me say experience from body count.
Yeah.
I just know I've learned as I gotten older, I like women who have been through something and had come out of it. And that's a small percent because, like I said, 99.7 is damaged and ain't coming out of it, and whether they realize it or not. It's women walking around here with the love of the man and the man with a man in their heart from 1979 don't even realize it. You remember what that lady said in the movie? You ever seen the movie Titanic? The one with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Remember when Rose was an old lady and they was trying to find the Titanic, and she said a woman's heart is a deep sea of secrets. Mm-hmm. And when I heard that, it resonated with me. So it's like, I don't ever want to be that guy where, I commit to this woman and blah, 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 and doing everything. Because I had a cousin that said something similar. He actually went through something you just talked about. He used to always talk about it. He was high and mighty in the church at that time, just really kind of bougie, snooty, stuck up. He said, the God I serve, I deserve to have a pretty wife. And that's exactly what he got. He had a pretty wife. I thought she was pretty. The average man would think she was pretty. The man went and worked hard, got his credit together, put that woman in a 5-bedroom house, 2-car garage, was a good father, and she left him.
Yes.
So it's like, when I tell guys all the time, and I think you said it, either, I don't know what we talked about it, but beauty, there's an ego behind beauty with the average woman. I can't stand this social media. You look at these women and they got somebody holding the camera while they walk past and jiggle their ass and walk with a switch, and they got the nerve to say some wisdom quote or some quote from the Bible. I'm the bag, or somebody gonna look at girl. Only a well, let me, man, I'm having a moment, man. Let me calm down because I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
Cause I'm not that guy, man. I'm telling you, man. I just think that if men with the modern Western woman who are not attracted to good men, constructive men, in shape men, you understand what I'm saying? Men who love the father and parent. I just think that if men could just develop the strength to completely ignore them and pay more attention to your sole purpose. Mm-hmm. The average man can't do it. I can. I promise you. I'll make eye contact with an ugly girl in a heartbeat because I know she's going to be, if I say hi to her, she's going to say hi back. Now, I'm not saying all pretty women are like this, but for the most part, when I see a chick in tight jeans and she got ass and she's switching and she throwing her hair to the side and her nails are done, I walk right past her like she ain't even there. I'm actually not even impressed by that no more. When I was like 20, I was, because I was one of them guys like, you remember that movie Porky's?
Yeah.
That was us. That was me and my Sahobs back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know what I'm saying? I will put some stuff out on this show because, like, me and all my dogs, like, we was hitting all the popular girls while I was dating the popular guys. They was in our neighborhood. But anyway, let me stop there.
Yeah.
But, man, I think men control the monster that we see with this modern Western woman. Mm-hmm. With all the things that they come with and all the delusion. Because at the end of the day, they still doing all this for attention. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, no woman wants to be alone forever or die alone as a woman.
But they think they got so many options and they really don't.
They really don't.
think they got 1,000 options,
Yeah.
and they don't.
And the
I'm
thing about it is, black men are going to end up getting married eventually anyway, and it always don't have to be a black woman.
right.
You know what I mean? And that's what they fail to realize. And that's why I'm saying, man, you catch a woman when she's older, she's humble as hell. She's not the same. Her health ain't optimal. Them looks ain't there no more. You know, the finances are coming down. She's getting into the retirement form. You know what I mean? So I think one of the solutions, let's be solution based.
Yes.
We got to start with our little girls, and but you got to have people that's got to buy into raising our daughters to not bask in what they look like. I tell my daughter all the time, be bigger than your look.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna have issues. All my daughters are curvaceous, but this young one, cause her mama's got a body, she's gonna have I'm seeing it now, so I'm teaching her, like, you know, this is how a guy's going to talk to you when he want to sleep with you. This is how a guy's going to talk to you when he actually wants to date you. But I say all men are really trying to take you to the bedroom. But I'm teaching her right now, don't be this attention whore on your phone, taking 1,000 selfies every day. If you want to be valued, be a problem solver. You will be valuable of people when you can help solve people's problems as opposed to what you look like. It is the most that mindset that has developed is the most redundant, retarded, remedial mindset I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But it's only going to exist when men pay attention and you know, you go, hey boo, queen, wifey, like, bro, stop it. Because when we're all young, reason why most of us pay child support young, because we fell in love with a look. I ain't gonna say fell in love with a look. We went to bed with a look and we never examined the mind.
Yeah. And even with us, you know, sleeping around, we're missing something. We're trying to find something. We're seeking something. We're not focused like we should be. You know, we think we need a lot of bodies too, even though it don't affect us as profound as it does women. It does affect us. We do it for a reason. You know, we're missing something. You know, we're conquering the wrong thing. You know, we're not looking at the legacy. We're looking at our feeding an addiction or feeding a void, you know. But once we elevate ourselves to focus on a goal or a dream or a journey or whatever, then you change the way you look, because now you want that helpmate because you focus.
Yeah.
You know, you want that person to cook for you while you know, on your grind, you know, and somebody to appreciate you while you on your grind, and, you know, rub your back while you know, at your desk on your grind, and understand, you know, that this is what a real man is. You know, we can't let our little head outdo the big head or control the big head.
So going into that part of the conversation, as we have tagged, what does manhood look like to you?
He's a conqueror. You know, he is driven. He has goals, dreams. He wants a family. He wants, you know, to leave a legacy. You know, he's not of the world. You know, he's a spiritual being that sees things differently than a boy would see it. You know, hardworking, focused. He has skills. You know, he's a student and also a teacher. He's and all of that spiritual. It ain't got nothing to do with how we look or how we put it down. You know, a real woman is going to see that and want that. So as we elevate our vibration, it's like I remind my daughter of the game Mario Brothers. You know, everybody's on that bottom level, but you have to get your gems to be able to go to the next level. And there's women on every level, you know. So as we elevate, we learn to not accept certain things, you know, that's gonna cloud our vision or block our goals. So we're steady collecting gems, you know, getting to that higher level. And like I said, there's women on every level, you know, and you can't take these women with you up there. They have to come themselves or get the woman that's already up there.
It's lonely at the top. You
It
know what
is
I'm
lonely.
saying?
All you
And
want is one.
exactly. And like I said, we gotta really deal with these babies, man. And we're gonna get some more of them videos with that little girl. Hands on your knees. Hands on your knees. Did you see that?
Nah, but I can imagine.
So
Yeah.
I want to take the show out on a high note. So I'm gonna read off some of these points that you sent. Because I found them to be so profound. And maybe a lot of people might need to hear this, who may be married or in a relationship. But I think, man, what you sent, man, was so profound. I want to read these off real quick. You said how to make your husband happy. Feed him, sleep with him, leave him in peace. Don't check his phone messages. Don't bother him with his movements. Clean the house, wash his clothes, always pray for him. And then you also didn't leave out the women. And actually the women's list, what you speak about on a woman is a little bit longer. It says how to make your wife happy, which I think is very balanced and profound of you. A friend, a companion, a lover, a brother, father, master, chef, an electrician, plumber, mechanic, carpenter, decorator, stylist, sexologist, gynecologist. Gynecologist, cuz.
Hey, they rather.
Hey, let me look down in there and see what you got going on there. Oh my goodness, we're gonna have to get the scope. I had to stop on that one because I didn't read it. I'm like, yo, I just read the gynecologist. Okay, that's dope. Hey man, my partner delivered his own baby, so like he's that guy. We can't tell him nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. They want you down there.
Hey man, you know what? Bye. I can't go down there because I ain't coming up. I'm gonna continue to read the list, man. Gynecologist, you put that up there. A psychologist, a pest exterminator, a psychiatrist, a healer, prayer, a good listener, an organizer, good father, very clean, sympathetic, athletic, warm, attentive, gallant, intelligent, funny, creative, tender, strong, understanding, tolerant, prudent, ambitious, capable, courageous, determined, true, dependable, and passionate. So, ladies, I told you at the beginning of the show, this was not a bash out show. Man, cuz gave y'all almost 43 points. And men, he only gave the men 8. So don't come to me talking about that show was about women. So that just lets me know he got love for the woman. It ain't about leaving the black woman. It's about leaving the American culture. Cause that was very profound. That was very dope, man. So I know you got a lot of projects going on, man. And I see you fixing up that house, man. And I really commend you because it's like you ain't hiring contractors. You doing it yourself, which I think that's like a high level form of masculinity. So besides, fixing up the house and everything like that, what else do you have on your plate, man? You got any more projects coming up? You planning to travel the country a little bit more? What you got going?
Actually, with what I'm doing with this house, I do plan to live in it at some point, but I want to rent it out, Airbnb or whatever, so that I can travel. I actually would like to live abroad, not in just one place, but to be able to travel to different places. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've had that experience, but to go, for example, to the Philippines, the whole vibe or the vibration is so warm and there's no police brutality. You don't barely hear a police siren. It's just so peaceful and and it ain't just the beautiful women, it's the guys too. Everybody is yes sir, and it's almost like I walk around like Michael Jordan. And the women are so humble, they're so shy, they can't wait for you to say something to them, but they're not gonna approach you. It's like heaven on earth, and we're trying to make heaven on earth here in the US. It ain't here.
It sure ain't.
We're in a commercial or a matrix, but we got to get out of this. This life ain't where you came from. I mean, it's about experiences, and we have to experience outside this country. This ain't our country. The world is ours. We ain't stuck in a zip code or a state. How we try to claim a hood or a neighborhood. We ain't got nothing invested in it. That ain't ours. We invest in this whole world with our abilities or our gifts. We're more than just where we are now. We are influences to the world. So we're not just stuck in one place. And to me, you do yourself a disservice by staying in the same place for your whole life.
I know, man. I just talked to a good brother of mine, Brandon. Shout out to Brandon out of New York. I'm sorry, in Ohio. I always want to put him in New York. Go Buckeyes. He just told me he just got back from Dubai for 2 weeks, man. He kind of just said the same vibe. Like it was people treated him like a human being. They were kind. They were nice. He just kind of studied the land a little bit. And I know I got a friend of mine, Angela Heat. She has her best friend is a teacher in Dubai. I think she's about to make her way back because, I really got to do a better job of traveling. I know my daughter's mother got my daughter a passport because she wants to take them outside the country. And I ain't gonna lie, I've been a little bit timid about traveling abroad with the state of the world, man. I ain't trying to get detained in no third world country or something like that. But I also ain't trying to be like a lot of people here in Atlanta. Shout, I ain't never been outside 285. Shout it.
I would be real curious to see you in a different country because you stated I like this and I like that and I like this. But if you were in a whole different environment, then what you like would just broaden, and not to mention most of them are natural. They got natural eyes, natural skin, very little makeup, natural hair. You don't meet somebody and then wake up to somebody else over there. It's
Hey, do they got basketball over there? Can I hoop?
They do have basketball over there. China got basketball. Basketball is everywhere.
Man, what you say is true, man. Can I tell my horror story right quick, man?
Go for it.
So yeah, man. So back in the loop, man. Years ago, got with this chick. You know what I'm saying? I've been knowing her a while. At least I thought I did. And we hit it off, man. We got together, man. Got a little room and did a little thing. You know what I'm saying? So basically woke up the next morning and I looked at her. I was like, damn, her face and head look so sucked in. And I looked closer and I was like, because no teeth. And I looked over on the table and the whole rack was sitting in a glass of water. Hands on your knees. Hands on your knees.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, man. I be seeing that stuff, man. Chick pull up their way. Yeah, boy, I want to take. Oh,
yeah.
But man, yeah, man. I do want to get back to some natural stuff, man. Shout out to the natural black woman in America. You know what I'm saying? I be trying to tell chicks like you look good without it. Be like, what you saying? I love my makeup. I need my makeup. Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, real men that you looking for don't like that. We don't like that. We don't like care for BBLs. Right. You know what I'm saying? I seen a dude on Instagram one time paying women for BBL. He said, I'll pay for you. Like, bro, cuz we got to keep it a buck, man. A lot of the monstrosity in our women, some of these men contribute to that too.
Oh yeah.
Some of these men influence this monstrosity we see out here.
And I want to say something else too before we get off the traveling part. The food, the food is like really like that's up there with the women.
For real?
The fruit ain't no pesticide. They don't allow a lot of things in their food that is allowed in our food. Remember back in the day, we used to drink out the water hose?
I remember that, man.
Why are we buying water now? Because we can't drink out the water hose no more.
Damn, so can't. Especially in Gwinnett County here in Georgia. That's chlorine in that water. I don't know why ain't nobody else can't taste it.
Chlorine, aluminum, all that stuff in there.
Yeah, man. But because they ain't got no McDonald's.
They do. They do have McDonald's.
They probably got real beef.
Yeah, exactly. They do. Because they don't allow. I wrote an article about what we allow and what other countries don't allow. I'm gonna send it to you.
Please do. If we could talk about it, we probably could wrap that up on another, another go round, man. You know how that go.
Yeah, and we could talk about the guy, what is it, Yaki Awakened?
Yaki Awakened, man. That brother tough.
Man.
That brother tough.
Yes.
He from St. Louis, and guess who else is from St. Louis? I just found out. 19 Keys. Shout out to 19 Keys, man. That brother's phenomenal. Yaki Awaken. Yo, shout out. I went to the herb store when I was home in St. Louis. I got like this liquid supplement, you know, help deal with my arthritis, my meniscus, you know what I mean? And got me some magnesium and stuff like that. But listening to Yaki Awaken, man, because the one thing I respect about the brother, because a lot of people don't do this on social media, they always come off like these doctors, but at least he always says, I'm not a doctor, but he is certified as a biochemist. And, you know, the herbs that he mentioned to deal, you know, because I don't have high blood pressure, but my blood pressure was elevated when I went through my little medical emergency a couple of years ago, which I tested negative for COVID 5 times. But can't nobody tell me that wasn't COVID. You know what I mean? So, but everything that brother said, bro, I experience it right now. And, you know, recently, too, because I went to the vitamin lady, which I encourage a lot of people to here in Atlanta. If you're here in Atlanta, we have a blessing. We have a jewel sitting down on Auburn Ave, catacorn from MLK's childhood home in Ebenezer Baptist Church, the vitamin lady, the herbalist. When I went down there and I found out my blood type is AB positive, right, which is one of the rarest blood on the planet, I found out that chicken is the worst thing for my blood type. I have not eaten chicken since that day. I have not eaten bananas since that day. Mushrooms and black olives. Man, I can tear a portobello sandwich up because I love mushrooms. Chicken I like, but I'm not crazy about it. I went cold turkey that day and black olives, which I'm like, damn, and pickles. So I would look. If I ever had the chance to talk to Yaki in person, I would really ask him, yo, bro, what do you think about eating for your blood type? Because a lot of the fruits and stuff and he names is a lot of inflammatory foods that my blood type can't eat. So I don't know. You know, it's a rabbit hole, but that brother's powerful, man.
Yeah, he is.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna give you the last word, cuz we're gonna get ready to get on out of here, man. I enjoy you from coming on the show every single time, man, cuz you inspire me. I look up to you. And I have delved into that book. It's very beneficial, man. You know, I've renewed, man, like I said on my first show, man, coming back this year, I really got to get me a pair of headphones that won't fall out my ear. You know, I renewed, man. You know, I've been spiritually restored, man, and renewed my faith back in the Most High, man. And but like I say, my faith ain't blind now. You know, there's work to be done with, you know, what God has given us a brain. So we have to use the mind to do work, solve problems, and always, you know, be the best form of yourself, man. And, you know what I'm saying? The highest level of humanity that you can give. And that's not a black thing. It's just all people, you know, because like I tell people all the time, you know, I'm not pro-black. I've been through that journey. I've been through that walk, and can't nobody tell me, you know, like anybody who try to challenge me on that, I will crush them. But it's no need to be pro-black. When you say you pro-black and this, that, it's just a response to racism and white supremacy. So at the end of the day, this is why I named this podcast Humanity Works, because when people act according to the way that God, the Most High, intended for man to act, then humanity works. People help each other. People value each other. That's what it means when I say humanity works, because it can, and it does, and it's going to progress. Last word on you, cuz.
You kind of like you said, we just got to keep growing, you know, keep learn to accept the truth. You know, don't be afraid to accept your truths. You know, a lot of us hide behind our truths, but that's where the true gems are. You know, that's where we can change. If we can't really accept our truths, then we repeat history.
I appreciate you so much, man. And as always, man, the biggest mistake that you could ever make is to think that you have time. Thank you for sitting in tonight. This is another episode of Humanity Works. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Equality versus equity. Equality means every child gets a pair of shoes. Equity means every child gets a pair of shoes that fit. That means every school district has to meet every student's individual needs.
I'm Jerry O'Green with the Black Student Advocate. We advocate for black employees and black students within the K-12 school districts. We hold school districts accountable to make sure that black students and employees are in a fair and equitable workplace.
Humanity Works podcast presents The Exodus. Tired and winded from meaningless days with repetitive actions of labor. With the day staring you in the face, you contemplate, hoping that something delightful happens today. As you begin your daily rituals of morning activities, the anxiety of actually walking out of your front doors builds, knowing that a complete lineup of mistreatment will take place today. The lonely walk of an Afro-American man in this world is a harsh reality for any consciousness. The value of your existence is extremely low. This for many is a disturbing phenomenon, but I encourage you to stand tall. There is none greater than you that could embrace this walk. However, in your case you have no choice. Each and every day you are dying on the inside, but none care to hear your pain. You are being eaten apart from constant setbacks and obstacles that are by design, but none believe your cry. The idea of your masculinity has been replaced with improper images and false narratives, to the point when people actually meet one of your caliber they think they've seen a ghost. You often wonder, where is your place of refuge? You often wonder, are you good enough to occupy spaces in the lives of loved ones? Let's not forget to mention the anger burning inside of you from learning of all of the lies that have been fed to you in youthful years that you are just now discovering is causing major trauma. You seek answers daily that have been lingering in your head for years, but no luck in finding the answers. You desire moments of vulnerability, but doors are closed. Your desire to be valued enough to be loved, but your intelligence level is a penalty. Now stop. Take a deep breath, reset, visualize, and now hit play. The man you are to become exists within you already. But what exactly are you sending your mental energy to? Once people in the world gave you confirmation of what you mean to them, why did you not make the separation? Or are you the type to force an entry? Mental illness is the struggle to accept the reality that is before you. Words create worlds, so my question to you is, do you speak good of yourself? Let me ask you a question. Are you ready to make your exodus from all you have ever known?